What if the collapse of U.S.-Iran nuclear talks pushes us toward a war that could dwarf the devastation of the Iran-Iraq conflict, where over 1 million lives were lost? Welcome to this urgent deep dive, where we uncover the hidden truths of global affairs. Let's break this down step by step. Recent reports from Axios and the Wall Street Journal paint a grim picture. Just as direct meetings in Oman were set to begin, aiming to negotiate a way out of escalating tensions, Iran appears to be pulling back. They're insisting talks focus solely on the nuclear issue, rejecting broader demands. This comes amid fresh intelligence showing Iran's uranium enrichment has hit 60% purity, perilously close to weapons grade, according to Reuters. If these talks crumble, as headlines suggest they already have in the past tense, it's a ticking time bomb for world peace. In my analysis, we're witnessing a classic case of mismatched expectations. The U.S., under Trump, started strong, deploying what he calls an Armada, but let's call it what it is, a house of cards built on overconfidence. Trump flip-flops like a fish out of water. 2 weeks ago, he raged about Iran's crackdown on protesters, claiming thousands killed. Then he backed off when they paused executions. Suddenly, it's all about nukes again. Iran, backed by Russia and China, responds with steady resolve. Fine, inspect our sites. Assure yourselves we're not building weapons. They've even offered talks on enrichment limits, per Al Jazeera sources. But the U.S. demands everything: no enrichment, dismantle ballistic missiles, cut off Hamas and Hezbollah. Iran sees this as surrender, not negotiation. And why wouldn't they? Their missile arsenal is no joke. Recent upgrades, as reported by Press TV, include 18 types of ballistic missiles with ranges up to 2,000 miles, plus variants of cruise missiles and at least 12 drone models that can strike far beyond their borders. Just last week, they integrated 1,000 new combat drones, bolstering defenses amid U.S. threats. This standoff isn't new. It's rooted in decades of mistrust. Since 1982, when Hezbollah emerged with Iranian support, the U.S. has lost over 1,000 troops to Iranian-backed actions, from the Beirut embassy bombing killing 63, including 17 Americans, to IEDs in Iraq claiming 608 U.S. lives, per U.S. government estimates. Iran, meanwhile, points to U.S. proxies killing nearly 1 million Iranians in the same period, including chemical attacks backed by American precursors during the Iran-Iraq War. Flash forward, and Iran's position remains rock steady. They're not shifting, while the West wavers. Trump's demands echo past failures. Remember the JCPOA? Iran complied with inspections, limited enrichment, until Trump walked away in 2018, egged on by hawks like Pompeo. Now, with BRICS membership since 2024, Iran has alternatives. Trade with China and Russia bypasses sanctions. Per Atlantic Council analysis, their economy, though strained with 40% inflation, is rebounding through non-dollar deals, weakening U.S. leverage. If talks fail, the fallout could be catastrophic. We're not talking abstract risks. This is a chessboard where one wrong move topples kings, the U.S. Armada off Iran's coast. It's smaller than the force in the Red Sea last March during Operation Rough Rider. Back then, with 2 carriers, 4 destroyers, and a cruiser, we couldn't neutralize Houthi threats. Yemen's missiles persisted, downing 3 F-18 seconds and 7 MQ-9 drones at $35 million each. We withdrew, tails between our legs. Now facing Iran, a nation 3 times Yemen's size, with professional forces and advanced tech, we've got 1 carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln, 3 destroyers like the USS Truxtun, and support ships, per recent military.com reports. They're positioned about 1,000 miles offshore to evade Iranian anti-ship missiles and drones, but that puts Tomahawk ranges at their limit, barely scratching sand dunes. Get closer for impact, you're in interceptor range, a deadly catch-22. Iran's defenses are no slouch. Underground launch facilities, mobile systems, robust air defenses flooded with Chinese and Russian gear since last June. Alastair Crooke has described these silos as impregnable fortresses. Add their recent ballistic upgrades, and it's a fortress on wheels. From what I've observed, Trump's pulling out blows his own off-ramp. With Russia and China set for joint naval drills with Iran mid-February, the Maritime Security Belt exercise in the northern Indian Ocean per Tasnim News, any U.S. strike window slams shut. Russian cruisers and Chinese destroyers are already en route, complicating the board. Evidence shows Pentagon insiders are overconfident. Some believe U.S. air defenses can swat all Iranian missiles, per sources, but reality bites. In Yemen, we couldn't find mobile launchers without losing drones. Iran's got better tech, deeper bunkers. This isn't just military posturing, it's a recipe for disaster. If we engage, expect underground barrages, drone swarms, overwhelming shields. Those 3 destroyers, half loaded with Tomahawks, half defenses. Exhaust missiles in days, then sail for resupply, a 3-day trek to Diego Garcia. The math doesn't add up. We're 70% underpowered compared to Yemen ops against a far superior foe. Pull your head out of the sand. This stupidity risks American lives. And let's not forget the human cost. Iran's proxies have killed fewer than 5,000 Israelis since 1982, per stats, while IDF admits over 70,000 Palestinian deaths. Disproportionality fuels the fire. In my view, we're projecting our own demons. Like an Angel Heart, where the detective hunts a killer only to find it's himself. U.S. broke the JCPOA, not Iran. We funded Saddam's chemicals. Myths of Iran as terrorist kingpin ignore facts. They fought ISIS in Syria while we armed the precursors. Experts confirm Iran's ballistic missiles are defensive lifelines. Without them, it's signing their death warrant, as Al Jazeera's Ali Hashim notes. Past deals? Trump pulled out in 2018. Israeli strike derailed 2,025 rounds. This poison pill, demanding missiles and proxies, ensures failure, paving war's path. Pompeo, Graham, keen, echo regime change, not diplomacy. Lie, cheat, Pompeo says of Iranians. Projection much? If we strike, bloody nose awaits. Bases in Qatar, Saudi, Kuwait, all vulnerable. Planes down, pilots captured, ships sunk, at least 2 vessels lost if we close in. Ripple to Ukraine, aid ends, Russia rolls on, Ukraine folds, Russia takes Odessa, Kyiv. Take the nuclear win on the table, sign, seal, deliver, Iran won't nuke up. But Zionist captives push regime change, co-opting Egypt, Jordan, Saudi. Irony. Actions consolidate Iran's control. Opposite intended. War is quick for U.S. Exhaust defenses in days. Withdraw to rearm. Scenario: 100 drones daily per destroyer. Missiles gone day 1. Sail south. Iran fires freely. Risk: no safe U.S. base left. We're playing checkers. They're 5 moves ahead. What if the real danger isn't Iran's missiles, but our own blind spot? The illusion that we can bomb our way to victory against a nation that's been preparing for exactly this moment for decades. Let's continue this urgent deep dive. The clock is ticking faster than most realize. Iran's joint naval exercises with Russia and China, Maritime Security Belt 2026, are now confirmed for mid-February in the northern Indian Ocean. Iranian, Russian, and Chinese warships, including destroyers and cruisers, are already converging. This isn't just routine drills. It's a clear signal. Any U.S. military action now risks direct entanglement with 2 nuclear powers. The window for a limited strike? Days, maybe a week at best. After that, the chessboard becomes a minefield. In my view, the U.S. posture reeks of the same hubris that doomed us in Yemen. Operation Rough Rider failed spectacularly. We poured in massive assets, 2 carriers, multiple destroyers, yet Houthi missile and drone attacks continued unabated. Shipping disruptions persisted. We lost precious aircraft and multi-million-dollar drones. Ultimately, we pulled back. Mission unaccomplished on all fronts. No restored freedom of navigation, no degraded missile force, no severed Iran link. Iran is Yemen on steroids, 3 times the landmass. A standing army of over 600,000 active personnel, an air force with upgraded Russian Su-35 seconds on order. Underground missile cities, entire bases carved into mountains impervious to conventional strikes, mobile launchers that vanish into deserts like ghosts, advanced air defenses layered with Russian S-400 equivalents, and Chinese systems, flooding in since mid-2025. Recent satellite imagery from open sources shows new hardened silos near Natanz and Fordo, capable of surviving initial barrages. Our current force, the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group, 1 carrier, 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, a cruiser perhaps in support. Positioning reports place them roughly 800 to 1,000 nautical miles offshore to stay outside Iran's anti-ship missile envelope. Think Fateh 110 derivatives with 300-plus kilometer range, plus newer hypersonic claims. But Tomahawk cruise missiles top out at about 1,000 to 1,600 miles, depending on variant. Fire from safe distance. You hit empty desert, close in for accuracy. You enter the kill zone of Ghadir-class submarines, Noor anti-ship missiles, and swarming Shahed drones. Those destroyers carry roughly 96 vertical launch cells each, half dedicated to Tomahawks for offense, half to SM-6 and ESSM for defense. Against sustained Iranian salvos, experts estimate they could launch 100 to 200 drones and missiles daily in a hot scenario. Those defensive cells deplete in hours, not days. Once empty, no at-sea reload. Modern U.S. Navy VLS systems require crane loading in port. Nearest friendly facility, Diego Garcia, 3 days steaming south, 3 days back. That's 6 days offline while Iran keeps firing. Commodore level assessments align here. High intensity ops sustainable for 5 to 10 days maximum before logistics collapse. Doug Macgregor and others have modeled similar timelines. After that, defensive crouch, bases across the Gulf, Al Udeid in Qatar, naval facilities in Bahrain, UAE ports become prime targets. Iran's precision-guided ballistic missiles like Sejil and Khorramshahr have ranges covering every major U.S. installation and theater. Accuracy within meters now, thanks to upgrades. The human toll would be staggering. Captured pilots, sunk ships, at least 2 predicted in close engagements, thousands of American casualties possible in weeks. And for what? Regime change fantasies? Even if the leadership falls, no credible secular alternative exists. The son of the Shah, a laughing stock with zero street cred. No Martin Luther King figure waiting in exile. Post-Saddam chaos redux, but in a far more capable nation. Meanwhile, Iran's economy defies the siege. BRICS integration since 2024, plus Russia and China openly ignoring sanctions, has opened floodgates. Oil flows to China via shadow tankers. Trade in yuan and rubles bypasses SWIFT. Inflation still bites at around 35-40%, but black market resilience and domestic production keep the regime afloat. Sanctions enforcement? Dead letter among key partners. The narrative we're fed is inverted. Iran is aggressor because a single Shahed drone approached a carrier, while we sailed battle groups into their backyard ahead of talks. Ambassador statements calling it provocative ring hollow. It's textbook projection. We provoke, then cry foul at any response. Hawks like Pompeo insist any deal means Iranian lies and cheating, yet history shows otherwise. JCPOA compliance verified by IAEA until U.S. withdrawal. Recent rounds in 2024 to 2025, 5 completed, 6 derailed by Israeli strike. Again showed willingness for nuclear limits if guarantees exist. Ballistic missiles, non-negotiable. They're Iran's shield against invasion, especially after witnessing Iraq, Libya, Syria. Demanding their dismantlement is demanding suicide. As one Iranian analyst put it, it's handing your enemy your death sentence. No sovereign state accepts that. This path leads to escalation. Nobody wins. If strikes happen, expect retaliation cascading. Strait of Hormuz disruption, spiking oil to $150 plus, global recession trigger. Hezbollah, Houthis, Iraqi militias activate. Israel drawn deeper, risking multi-front war. Russia and China gain strategic leverage, perhaps accelerating their own red lines. And the nuclear irony? War pushes Iran toward the bomb faster. If North Korea has one and we don't, look what happens, their hardliners will argue. Dead hand automatic launch systems already in place. Retaliate even if command decapitated. John Mearsheimer's blunt take resonates. In their shoes, why not already have one? We're sleepwalking toward catastrophe, believing our own propaganda. Like the detective in Angel Heart realizing the monster is us. We broke the deal. We armed chemical precursors. We project death to America while ignoring our million-plus body count in their eyes. Trump could take the win. Nuclear freeze, inspections, de-escalation. Declare victory, walk away stronger. But captive to hardline voices demanding regime collapse, the off-ramp narrows. This isn't theory, it's math, it's history repeating. It's a powder keg with a lit fuse. What happens next could redefine global power for a generation. We stand at the edge of a precipice, staring into an abyss that could swallow entire regions and perhaps drag the global economy down with it. Let's wrap this urgent deep dive with the cold, hard realities staring us in the face. The poison pill at the heart of these collapse talks is crystal clear. By insisting on zero enrichment, total missile dismantlement, and severance from proxies like Hezbollah and Hamas, the U.S. is demanding Iran commit strategic suicide. Ballistic missiles aren't toys for Tehran. They're the ultimate insurance policy against regime change wars. The very kind we've waged or backed in Iraq, Libya, Syria. Strip them away, and Iran becomes naked before adversaries who have repeatedly proven willingness to strike first. Recent developments only sharpen the blade. Iran's enrichment has climbed steadily since the JCPOA's collapse, now hovering at near weapons-grade levels, according to IAEA reports from late 2025. Yet they still offer verifiable caps and inspections if structural guarantees exist. No repeat of 2018 withdrawal, no preemptive Israeli or U.S. strikes mid-negotiation, that 2025 six-round sabotage by airstrikes, not fiction, it happened, derailing momentum just as progress appeared possible. Hawks frame this as Iranian deception. Pompeo calls any agreement worthless because they'll lie and cheat. Yet the record shows compliance until we exited. The projection is staggering. We lecture on broken promises while shredding the one deal that worked. If escalation ignites, the cascade is predictable and terrifying. First wave, Iranian missile and drone barrages saturate Gulf U.S. bases. Al Udeid, Bahrain naval support activity. Facilities in UAE and Saudi Arabia light up on targeting radars. Precision strikes, not wild shots. Casualties mount quickly, hundreds, potentially thousands in days. Naval front, carrier group exposed. Destroyers burn through interceptors against Shahed swarms and anti-ship volleys. Once defenses collapse, capital ships become sitting ducks. Historical precedent, not Yemen's limited exchanges. Think 1980s tanker war, but with modern precision munitions. Expect at least 2 major hulls lost or crippled. Air campaign. Initial strikes hit known sites, but underground complexes survive. Mobile launchers scatter. Sorties face layered S-300, 400 style defenses, plus electronic warfare blinding GPS-guided munitions. Tomahawks? Increasingly unreliable against jamming tech now shared by Russia and China. Systems reportedly deployed in Iran capable of spoofing or blanking signals. Strait of Hormuz becomes a shooting gallery. 20% of world oil transits there. Mines, fast boats, submarine-launched missiles, traffic halts, oil spikes past $150, perhaps $200 barrel. Global recession follows within weeks. Proxies activate in parallel. Hezbollah rains precision rockets on Israel. Iraqi militias target bases. Houthis resume Red Sea blockade. Multi-front nightmare. Russia-China drills overlap. Direct friction risk skyrockets. No one wants great power clash, but accidents happen in fog of war. Longer term, Iran likely crosses the nuclear threshold post-conflict. C, Only nukes deter, hardliners say. Dead hand system ensures retaliation even if leadership decapitated. Deterrence theories shatter. Regime change? Fantasy. No viable opposition leader. Economic pain exists, but BRICS lifeline, trade with China, up 30% year over year. Russia supplying discounted energy and arms, cushions blows. Sanctions? Toothless when major powers opt out. The bitter truth. We're the architect of our own trap. Like the mirror seen in Angel Heart, the enemy we hunt wears our face. We exited the deal. We armed chemical horrors in the 1980s. We toppled neighbors, creating the very threats we decry. Now we demand surrender, then cry aggression when refused. Trump holds the key to de-escalation. Accept nuclear restraints, declare historic win. I stopped Iran's bomb. Walk away with leverage intact. But voices around him, Graham, Pompeo, others, scream regime change or bust. They frame diplomacy as weakness. Obama redux. This isn't chess anymore. It's Russian roulette with 5 chambers loaded. Americans, Israelis, Iranians, Palestinians all pay the price in blood and fire if cooler heads don't prevail. The window closes fast. Mid-February joint exercises lock the board. Strike before then or face multiplied risks. My plea, pull back from the brink. Take the verifiable nuclear deal on the table. Save lives. Preserve stability. Because if we don't, the world wakes to headlines far worse than collapse talks. What do you think? Is this the flashpoint that finally forces a reckoning, or can cooler strategies still prevail? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. If this breakdown opened your eyes to the real stakes, hit that like button hard. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you're never caught off guard again when the next crisis breaks. Stay sharp out there. The truth matters more than ever.